guys, I'm Rita, and in today's episode I will be not cooking. In today's episode I will be a business owner who sells an eggs in a local market. I will use this concept to show how you can register, record transactions and review your data and information on an accounting software called Pandle. Without further ado, let's jump in. So we just recently started our business. I started my business of selling eggs. I want to keep all my transactions digitally. So I have selected accounting software Pandle to record my transactions. In this tutorial, I will cover sections like registration process and system settings, customers, suppliers, bank, tools, what they provide, and reports. So without further ado, I think we should start. In this tutorial, first section is registering and system settings. So let's start. To register on Pandle accounting software, you can search by name Pandle in search engine, or you can type in your browser pandle.com. To register on Pandle accounting software, you will need only your email address, either your personal or business email address. And the way how you can register is by clicking on login, and below this white sign in box there is second row saying that register here. Fill details in as required. Okay, now it has to go into your email and follow link to activate your account. Follow the steps as they ask you to do. There is our activation email. Okay, I have activated email address. Now I need to log in with the same email what I used when I registered and the same password. Okay, now we have two options to choose from. If you are a business owner, which I'm just a business owner, which I will select, set up my own company. Or if you are an accountant or bookkeeper, you can become a partner of Pandle group. So you can combine or keep multiple companies in one place. So I will set up my own company because I'm owner of my small business. So, fill in your personal information, and when you will get started, it will start to go from one tab to another tab. So there will be some key points for you to consider. I will jump in and will advise. Otherwise, I'll just follow steps what applies to your business needs. About business type, it gives you an option to select sole trader, partnership, limited company, and etc. In this case, I will be as a sole trader. So when a business started, it can be today, yesterday, or a couple months ago. If I have recently started, I will just add when I started my operations. And financial year will depend if you are a sole trader. So most common financial years is in line with the tax year, which is from 6th April to 5th April. So that will be my financial year, what I will add in here. Select your industry. And then you can select previous bookkeeping system if you used any, if you're moving between different accounting softwares. In this case, I will say that it's a start of business. This is very first accounting software what I'm using. Okay, enter your contact details. Okay, additional information. This is place where you tell software what applies to your business. For example, if suppliers don't invoice you, you just have an expenses, you will not select it. In this case, I would have a couple of invoices directly sent to me as a business owner, so I will select yes. And another question is about, do you invoice customers? Majority of us would invoice customers, so select that one as well. And question is if you want Pandle to create invoices. There is a cases when you can use another platforms like maybe Stripe or maybe Invoice Home to create invoices somewhere else. In this case, I would say I want to do all accounting on this software, so I'll select this one. So do we issue, or I issue service invoices? Not at the moment. Do I issue product invoices? I would say yes, because I'm selling eggs, right? Quotes, not really. Is my business VAT registered? No. If you are, select yes. So basically go through list and select all what applies to your business at this stage. Later you can go on and amend and add functionalities like if you have employees. So you will be able to enter wages postings if you are paying salary to employees. So I don't use. And the same applies about multiple currencies. If you have your business trades in multiple currencies and select that you are doing it. So that would be one of options or functions what you unlock on your accounting software. I don't own motor vehicles. And if you have an accountant, select as well. At this moment, I would say I want to do my accounts until maybe end of financial year when I will decide to have an accountant. Do I use projects, and do you want to upload receipts? These two functions is a part of Pro package. So all these ones above are available on a free package. So you do not need to pay a penny to use this accounting software. But if you want to upload receipts, like receipts from purchasing meal or flight tickets or train tickets, as well as supplier invoices, you will need to upgrade to Pro package. And Pro package is £5 plus VAT per month. So we would say that yes, we would use, we would like to use a receipt uploads. Click continue. Names of the business account. Okay, this would be your main bank account. If you haven't got separate bank account and that is your current account, you can call it how you want, but it might be harder for you to split your personal expenses from your business related expenses. In this case, I would say that I have separate bank account for my sole trader business what I'm doing. So enter your bank account name. Okay, and you can add multiple if you use possible 2 or 3 different bank accounts, including maybe even like PayPal account or Stripe, for example. Continue. Choose your subscription. This is where you can see what functions you can use on this accounting software for free and which ones are paid. And receipt uploads are a paid package. So at this moment I will select Pandle plan and will confirm for free. I don't want to pay for accounting software, I just want to use basic functions. Okay, this is an interface of Pandle accounting software. All settings functions are under your right hand side and in the top corner. So let's have a quick scan through company settings. If you need to change something at a later point, this is a place where you can change your business info, including address update. Maybe that you're changing place or you have more registered business address. You can come here and update that information. That includes also if you employ another staff member, This is where you can come and select, and it will enable function to add wage postings. And it also applies about users. So if you apply for a pro package, you can have unlimited account of a user. So this would be a place where you would add new persons to your accounting software and would add permissions. Yeah, at this moment it thinks that there is no permissions allowed because I haven't got a pro or paid package permission, but we will cover it at a little bit later point. Let's look at document settings. In these document settings, you can come and more align to your business needs. For example, at a later point, you provide services or maybe consulting. So you can come here and select that you also sell services and not only products. And if you provide discounts, maybe there is like Christmas sales and discounts or bulk purchases, you can come here and select if that applies to your business needs. Yeah, and all other points as well, including integrating Stripe. Okay, do you want invoice reference prefix? You can put INV at the beginning, and then it will continue with invoice number. And lowest invoice reference, let's say that it's 100. Default invoice text, this might be like terms and conditions, like pay within 30 days. And provide your bank details here, like account number. I think there's too much digits, and sort code, and etc., and all other applicable details or information what you want to include here. Don't forget to save document settings when you make any changes. We will go through all these headers before we do any changes. So quote options, do we issue quotes? Have a think. If you need to issue quotes before you create invoices, you can enable function in document settings. Statement options, if you send out, the same. What statement text you want to default, you can add here. This places if you need to, or if you want more, just lost words. If you want to make sure that your invoice looks like more in line with your business and you have a company logo, you can add it here, and it allows you to do so even on a free package what you would use in Pandle, which is very great. At the bottom you can select which of invoice templates you want to choose for when you create invoice sending out to customers. I will just keep simple, this looks good to me. And email options, so includes like default replace as it states, and you can insert how text will show up, for example, contact name, display name, outstanding amount, total amount, and even invoice reference. For example, we would say display name and invoice reference, that would show in email text. Yeah, and adding any information, please see your invoice attached. Okay, so save document settings. Okay, next point is company subscriptions. So if at a certain point you decide that you actually want to digitally keep your records in the same software where you are doing all stuff, then you would need to upgrade to Pro package for Pandle. To do so, you can go here, and on left hand side you will see change plan. When you click on change plan, you can see what kind of features will be added to you use when you pay £5 per month plus VAT. And free packages like forever, what I mean, or what they mean forever, you can use this one unlimited time, even if you are moving to another company. If you know your password and login details, you will be always able to access your data. So I will just select start free trial, That's what you are allowed, and I would say confirm plan because I want a receipt uploads to do in the future. Okay. So now when we go back to company subscriptions, it will show that I started for free package on 28th of February, and now I have changed to Pro Pandle. If at a certain time in the future you wanna stop your paid package and you decide that free package is enough for you, change plan and select just a Pandle plan, free package Pandle, and upgrade in the same way, and it will just record that information there. Yeah. Okay. So. Okay, I think so that cover all in this section. Okay guys, before I can start to sell my eggs in a local marketplace, I need to get them, right? So I went to local farmer and we have an agreement signed that he will be main supplier of supplying eggs to me so I can resell them. So he issued very first invoice for my batch of 200 eggs. And when I looked, I have paper piece, but how I can enter it on my system, what I should do. So first category what we will look at is suppliers. Okay guys, there are two ways how we can enter new supplier and invoice for new supplier. Either opening a new client card on suppliers and clicking on suppliers, and then going on left hand side there is new, or we can start to add invoice and then there is an option for you to select add new supplier. So let's start from supplier section first. Add all details as they're asking, so display name is business name as what they're saying here, and then contact details, which is address. You can find that information either on invoice, supplier invoice, either on email, what from where they send that invoice, or on signed contract. So let's pre-fill details. Select appropriate category for this particular supplier. So this for me is goods and materials supplier. I have subcategories for tomatoes and eggs created as well. If you need new category, you can click by adding new, and then you can specify sales or purchases of, let's say, potatoes, just guessing. So you can, this is the way how you can add new category if you want split your income stream by every single category of product types what you're selling or services what you're providing. Click close. Okay, now we have a new supplier here. When we will add new invoices, we can, let's say we will add on 1st of March for eggs. Let's just enter. Add quantity, so I purchased 200. It's already pre-selects farmers, but if you need to add new supplier, this is the place where you will click. And it's the same contact or client card what you need to pre-fill, and once you will fill in and close save supplier, it will automatically select and add here. Category will be there, invoice number, price, so add price per item, amount 30. Okay, so I can click save and it will save. If you have multiple invoices, click on this plus sign and you can add another invoice. So let's say I will add 27. It's the same from farmer. So this is a purchase price. That's what invoice from supplier states, yeah? And save all. Okay, tax code. I cannot see tax code here. Okay, that might be a blip of a system. There shouldn't be any tax code things going on. Okay, so now it's showing both invoices here, and when we go back to suppliers, there is our supplier Farmer Limited. So I was so excited to get my batch of 200 eggs, so I went directly to my marketplace. And within a couple of minutes, I had a private bakery approaching and ordering 100 eggs to be delivered to the bakery. And within first 2 hours, I actually sold other batch of 100 eggs to a private or local people. So I have all these transactions, but how I can enter my accounting system? So let's have a look on next category called customers. We will add new customer in the same way as we would add a new supplier. So customers has the same amount of sections as with suppliers. So let's add a new customer. On left hand side at the bottom, you've got a green button called new. Let's click on customer, and this is customer's client card. It's the same as with supplier. You need to add contact details and basic details of your client. Talking about default category, you can have just the sales, or you can do a subcategories to follow your product sold and later to analyze easier. So I have 2 subcategories for tomatoes and eggs, and the same like with suppliers I mentioned, you can add a new category for potatoes. So click on add new, add sales potatoes, and select category code. It will be 403 most likely, because 402 was for eggs, so next sequence number to follow is 403. And once you do it, just click save category and it will be available from drop down box. So let's close it. I will select that eggs, and the same, add how many days they have to pay that invoice back to you. Maybe it's immediately, or you're giving to your customer 14, maybe 10 days, or maybe even 30 days. It's up to you. And if there is any credit limits, if it's applicable. Okay, so let's pre-fill contact details for my customer Bakery Limited. I will use my email so I can check and show you if actual invoices are sent out to a client. So you would enter here client's email address or your customer's email address. Okay, so this way how we can add new customers. So let's add now invoices. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. So you need to select customer from your customer list. If you need to add new customer, you can add by clicking here and adding details. This is the same customer clients card as we just a couple seconds ago entered details about Bakery Limited. So you can add new client directly from adding new invoice. Invoice reference will automatically came up, so it will go in a sequence, so you do not need to enter it manually, but you can amend if you want to add something else. Additional references, if customer provides any additional reference, like who may be ordered if it's a bigger organization. So let's say Andrew B. or you can add a purchase order number if they provide, and etc. Date. From date you can select when you issue your invoice. I will use 1st of March. And because I said that this client need to pay within 14 days, matching with my terms and conditions, the system will automatically allocate a due date for this invoice. Then we would enter all items on invoice as what we are selling to our client. So $100 sales, you can change still. Either you can default to sales or leave as for eggs. And price and amount. System will calculate automatically at the bottom total. So if you have multiple lines, you can add any other one, like I had tomatoes here, so you can add quantity, categories and prices and etc. If you don't want this row appear and you added it by mistake, you can click on this red button and it will remove. So now we have only one line. When you click save, you have a couple of options to choose from. So one is to save a next, or save and view, save and finish. When you will click save and finish, you will not see an invoice. And save and recur if this particular invoice need to recur every week or every month or every quarter or even annually, you can select and allocate timeline for it. So I will click save and view. I want to see how invoice looks like. So this is a template of an invoice, what I defaulted from a system, and this is how the invoice will look like. So now when you scroll to the bottom, you have an option to go back and amend, edit, or click on edit here, and then there is blue button at the right hand side where you can do couple of more actions. You can write off invoice, you can copy, delete, view it, or preview and send. I will click preview and send. If you haven't added the email address of your customer or client, it will be not sent to them. So it's defaulting information from the client's card. You can copy yourself in or someone else if there are multiple people need to receive this invoice. And there is a reply address. This is how subject will look like and what would be details. And okay, so you can attach if you want, do any other attachments, like maybe photography of delivery, or if you're using any couriers, so courier information or confirmations that items been delivered to them, that you can use and as an option to give like a support documents, or maybe a signed copy of the contract. That is additional attachments what you can attach to this particular client and this invoice. Okay, let's click send to customer, or you can click send preview. I will send to customer. Okay, so invoice being sent to customer, and because I put my own email address, I can go to my mailbox and check if I actually received it. So let's jump on it quickly. I will refresh it, and yes, there is an invoice 104. Scroll up. So invoice number here, sorry, on left hand side is 104 what we send, and we send for £30. And when we look, there is invoice 104 for £30. So when we click, this is how an email will look like. Yeah, and with attached copy of invoice what customer can use as document to record this transaction on their systems. Okay, so let's go back to customers and customer invoices. So there is our bakery limited. But if we have sold to private person, so how we would enter that one? In the same way, Even if it's private person or limited company or business or etc., it's the same approach. Instead of giving manual small receipts, it's still transaction. So you need to provide a document, and that document, which is known as a receipt, will be as an invoice for a client. So if we have a new private person purchasing eggs from us and we're selling eggs to them, so you would add the same details, and if person just provides name of their as a contact details and email address, that's enough for you, because you can send that receipt to them directly and keep records digitally. So basic information, let's say we had client Andrew Bush. It gives a reference, let's say sales, the same. You can allocate category or just bunch up under one category called sales. There is no limits. Contact details, I will select my personal email address so I can show you how it works, and just select on pre-fill details below. So save customer, and it automatically picks up this customer from the list. Last invoice was invoice 104, now it's 105, so system gives next number automatically. It's the same, you can add additional reference if needed, if not, just don't worry. Add details, and if person purchased 20 eggs, select category and price what you are selling these eggs for, and just save and finish. Okay, so to check if invoice been sent out, you can see on this list if green envelopes show up. So customer invoices, all invoices is here, so you will be able to see which invoice has been sent out, and we can see that last invoice have not been sent out yet. So we can click on these three dots, the last option from the list, and by selecting preview and send invoices, you can send directly, or you can do any other operations what you want from the list. Either delete invoice, if there is a reason why it's need to be deleted, you can view in PDF, download, and maybe send through other means of delivering message, maybe WhatsApp if you have WhatsApp details for this client, your choice. So there is an options to do. So let's click preview and send invoice and send to customer. Okay, so now 105 invoice has been sent to an email. So let's check if I received. Yes, so your client will directly receive a message from account saying, oh, this is your receipt, even if it's called an invoice. Okay, so there is another thing to what I want to let you know. So how you can know if clients have paid or not paid? When you click on view on this blue left hand side button, there is category called receivables. And when you click on receivables, it will give all list of your customers and if they have paid. So if they have paid, they will not appear on your list. If they haven't paid you yet, they will appear on this list. Okay, so this covers now section about customers. I just looked at my bank account and I saw that local bakery have sent money in my bank account, and yesterday evening I also paid supplier, a local farmer, by supplying 200 eggs, and I still have a cash from sales in local marketplace from a private individual. So I have bank transactions and cash transactions. Don't panic. We will have a look on next section on Pandle accounting software called banking. So let's look at banking now. So there's two options, bank accounts and bank rules. To not overcomplicate this tutorial, I will not go in such a deep detail about bank rules, but if you get more familiar and confident about using this software, you might decide to use it. I will just look on bank accounts, how to record transactions, just a simple and easy way. So currently I have cash account for all cash sales, what I have received, and Lloyds Bank. My bank account has balance already, but when you will register yourself on Pandle accounting software, you will have zero at the beginning. So for cash sales, I have zero, but I know that I have invested £50 of my personal cash into business. So how I should record it? There is two buttons: add new bank account, which we don't want to do at the moment, and enter transactions. Click on enter transactions and you can select in which of your money accounts, like bank account or cash account, you want to enter transactions, and I will select cash and click enter transactions. This is the area when we will start to add any ins and outs about in our money accounts, either cash or bank account. First section is date. We would select appropriate date to match with our money recording timeline, right? Or dates. Then there is 4 categories: money in, money out, customer receipts, and supplier payments. So if you have not issued invoice, then all other money in transactions will go through here. If you have issued invoice to customer, you should always allocate through customer receipt. It will be not money in, it will be customer receipt. The same applies to supplier payments. So if you have supplier invoice entered on system already, you should use supplier payment instead of money out, because if you will add as a money out, you will have overdue payables balances showing up, and you might pay your supplier twice. And likewise with customer receipts, you might call them or chase them for a payment, but actually they have already paid to you, but you have entered it through money in. So what goes under money in apart from customer receipts? It might be like I funded money to business, so that would be money in, or maybe you taking out any loans or borrowings, so bank sends money to you, so that will be money in, because bank is not actual customer to your business, and neither me as who is funding this business will be a customer at the moment. Yeah, so that is the difference between money in and customer receipts. Talking about money out and suppliers, so in which cases you should be recording transaction as a money out instead of supplier payments is, for example, if you pay for tickets to take a train, or maybe some parking tickets, not like tickets, not a fines, but like a parking receipt. All that ones will go part of your like expense forms maybe. So you would use that one as a money out if you pay directly and you have receipt, and it's not actual supplier to your business, but they're like side expense to your business. So let's record money in transactions, because I funded £50 for into my cash box, yeah, money box. So category, there is where you would select. If you haven't got category, you can add a new in the same way how for sales and purchases. So I will search if there is funding. So I add a new category called my own funding. You can call it like borrowing or start investment and etc. Yeah, and description, personal deposit, and £50. Okay, so if we know that there is multiple transactions happening in our cash account, which notes here, instead of saving one by one, you can click on blue button and add next transaction. For example, we made like clients paid as money in cash on our marketplace. So I know that Andrew has a couple of invoices and there is one invoice left dated on 1st of March, just tick there, done, and invoice date was actually 1st of March. So if we sold on 1st of March, make sure that it's not, that you don't receive money beforehand invoice is issued. So, okay, let's click next one. Let's use 1st of March, customer receipt, and let's select John, invoices, and select this one. So these persons paid all money in, so that's perfectly fine. Now, from our money, we paid for expense for fuel of traveling to marketplace and coming back. So today I had money out, and it is for do I have for fuel? No, travel. Yeah, there is travel and subsistence, but if you want, you can create a new category called fuel, so you can analyze how much fuel expenses or how much it's cost to your business. We can create it new. Let's call it fuel. Let's use capital so it's all in the same way. Fuel, select category, it's expense to our business, and let's select so if travel and subsistence was 615, let's select 616. Okay, and if there are direct costs to your business, yes, there are direct costs to our business, because fuel we cannot sell if we don't we cannot sell if we cannot get or commute to our local marketplace. So let's say category, so it's defaulting fuel. So we can put details like where you purchased fuel, so it would be petrol station name here, and then you can add a number of receipt here as well, and you can say how much you paid, like 17, just guessing. So that would be money out. Once we have entered as many as you wish, just keep in mind if your system will crash, all these entries will need to re-enter again. So if you keep to 10 or maybe 50 transactions and save and then continue, this might be more beneficial. So save all. Okay, so now we have entered all cash transactions and it's showing up here. But then I went to a bank and I cashed in 50 pounds into my bank account. So how I should enter that transaction? So let's enter transaction in our, either you can do from your cash, so money out, or you can do as a money in from your bank account. So let's do from cash account, and today we are taking money out from our cash account and we moving into our bank account, and deposit and 50 pounds and click save. So now when we go back to our banking, 50 pounds came out from here and they're moved into your into bank account. So if you want to pay our supplier, how we should enter that transaction? It's the same way. Click enter transaction and select your bank account, enter transaction. And today we are paying supplier invoice. So we have an invoice, we entered on system. Instead of money out, we will use supplier invoice. And when you click on invoices here, it will show which invoices are available for payment. So let's say we will pay first invoice for 15 pounds. It will default to your description, supplier's invoice number, what you recorded, and it will already select 15. So you cannot amend these details. It will pre-populate information available from system. So when you click Save All, okay, and when we go to our suppliers and click on farmers, we can see that £15 for this invoice being paid, and it's also turned in a green. In grey, it shows that this still is unpaid and we haven't it paid yet. Okay, so let's go to our bank account. And the same process like with cash entering any transactions, the same you would do in your bank account. It's the same structure of and layout of transactions how for cash, how I showed. So it's exactly the same. You can add as many rows as you need as per your bank statement. Just tick out, and that all works very well. Also with Pandle Pro package, you can enable bank feeds. So if you want your transactions from your bank account to appear in your system, you can enable it if you select a Pandle Pro package. Okay, so this covers section about bank accounts and cash and how to record these transactions. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. So why I'm so excited? It's because local bakery just sent me an email confirming that they would like me to deliver eggs, batch of 100 eggs, every week. But then, manual entering of invoice every week, there is easy solution. So let's have a look at next section called Tools. Okay, recurring transactions we will cover now, but there's 3 more subcategories what we will briefly go through in a second. So how I can set up recurring transactions for my exciting one customer bakery. So the way how you add is add new recurring transaction. And you can select either customer, supplier, or maybe adjustment. I don't suggest you to go to adjustments if you don't know exactly what you want to recur. So let's set up customer invoice. Okay, click new. And here it is. We selecting its layout looks like similar like to invoice what we entered for customer. So bakery limited. We can add additional reference. So we can put a reference and add like details saying that maybe it's project name, maybe you want referencing contract number, like using, it's up to you. And now it's items, so we will say eggs, brown, and agreement was 100 eggs every week. So we will select subcategory, price, I would say 30 cents. It automatically calculates. And now we will click on save and recur. When you click on that button, it will ask you to pre-fill details how you want it to recur. So for example, start date will be from 1st of April because for March we already no, it will be weekly. So we will say that we want it start to recur from next Monday and repeat every 1 week. And do you want to set an end date? And this is where we can select if it finishes and when it finishes. So I would say that end date will be at this moment end of December. So 43 recurrences. So I have agreed with Bakery Limited that we will review our contract at the end of December. And status would be active. Click on next. And now you can add details like saying that I want this invoice to be sent automatically, or you can deselect this function. If you will deselect this function, you will need to send it manually. I would leave it automatically so I do not need to worry, and it records on system automatically for me. And there is a pre-populated information what it will show. If you need anything else to add, you can pre-select from inserts rows and amend details here, adding more like bank details or any other terms and conditions, or maybe contact person for particular this contract, and etc. So once you're happy with all this added information, then click on Save Recurring Invoice. Okay. Email template subject can be blank. Oh, okay, I missed this bit. So subject, we will add the K and invoice reference. Okay, so why it's not... Okay, so now it will show an invoice subject. So that was my bad, sorry guys. Okay, so now we have bakery limited. Like frequency or occurrence will be every 1 week, start on 7th of March every week, and when it will be executed and it's active. It's the same like with new customer, we can also add new suppliers. So I have added a phone company. At this moment is inactive, but we can activate it by when you click and select active, save recurring posting. So now phone company bills and its supplier invoice will occur every 1 month. And the same will apply for if you have business rates or you have electricity bills and etc. It's not only limited to customer invoices, it applies the same process to supplier invoices. Just select your appropriate frequency, because sometimes you might have bills which covers quarterly or maybe annually. So just keep that one in mind. Okay, so there is a couple more categories under recurring transactions, and one of the Pandle Pro options is receipt uploads. If you will look here and you cannot see your receipt uploads, but you've got Pandle Pro package, go back to your settings under company settings, and under financial info, if you haven't selected that your business use receipt uploads, click here and tick and update company details. And if you haven't selected it, it will not show up. So what is receipt uploads? That means that instead of keeping your invoices and maybe your fuel receipts and any other receipts somewhere else digitally stored, you can actually attach them on system. So let's add a new receipt. For example, here I will to upload on right hand side there is a circle with like arrow going up. That's mean upload. So we can browse file to upload from system. So I will select, let's say I have a meal for 1635 and upload. Okay, so this receipt is uploaded here. So you can download later, you can edit it, or you can delete if you want. So now we have receipt, but how I should record this transaction? So if I have paid with cash, I would go to my banking and add it as a cash transaction. But if I have paid it from a bank, in the same way, I would add enter transaction and select here And because that receipt is not like a supplier to us from a company who issued that receipt, it will be just a payment made and it's part of an expense recording. So my personal expense recording. So I would select it as a money out category. I would select subsistence, travel and subsistence, and I will say meal. I think so it was some or something. And I can add amount. It was 1635. And you can attach receipt by clicking on this green button with like a pin, and select it and click done. If you haven't got that receipt, you can always upload a new one by clicking browse file and selecting, and that's how you can do digital record keeping for every entry on this accounting software. So we have attached file and save all. Okay, so that's how we can use receipt uploads and keep records digitally. We can record any notes if needed, if we need to contact someone specifically, or there is another important information, especially if you have multiple staff members, so you can add multiple notes and maybe put that it's for attention of one of your staff members to action it. You can edit it, it can be archived, or it can be deleted at a later point. And the way how you're adding is just click add a new note and add your details, what you want. It's a very simple post note, digital post note. Yeah? And then there is last section called items. So that's where you can create categories and prices, purchase price and sales price for and items. So I have created item categories for eggs and tomatoes, but we can create a new item for potatoes. So you would call it, okay. Then I purchase this item, I would say yes. Price, let's say it's 0.05. And we can create a new category for potatoes. So this one is and we would select as expense category 503 because it's direct expense to us to managing our business. Save category, and we can add here size, color, I don't know, maybe 1 kilo bags or whatever you want. You can add here as in description to separate from any other, if there is any other potatoes groups or whatever. And we sell this item, and we sell maybe this item for 8 pence. So let's say it's not 5 kilo bags. And we sell it for 0.80. And sales, likewise with the purchases, we can add new category for sales, so we can later track how well or how much we sold our potatoes and analyze that information. So save category, so it defaults to potatoes category, and we would say 0.5 kg bags. Okay, so click on save item, and here we go. We have new product group or item group of potatoes. So when you will enter invoice from a supplier, it will default to price of 50 pence per half of kilo. And when you issue invoice to a customer or cash or customer who will pay via bank transaction, it will default to 80 pence. But you can always override the prices if needed. And if you know that there is inflation and prices goes up, you can always come here and edit and amend price to more reasonable in line with your business operations. For example, maybe instead of increasing, you reduce price to 10, or if there is inflation and suppliers are asking you to pay 10 pence, and then we would increase our sales price to 20 pence, and click on save items, and this will automatically update on the new invoices what will be issued, or new supplier invoices what would be entered on system. So this section covers tools. What is section accounting? So section accounting is, I would say, the most least used section for you if you are not an accountant, but there is category called transactions. In this category, you will be able to see every single transaction what you have entered on accounting software, and review details and just see how business goes and grows. But if you don't feel confident about any of those information categories, you can always reach out to accountant and ask for advice. I'm so happy. Last month I made so many sales and I had just couple costs and expenses to a business. So I have definitely made a profit. But did I? Let's have a look on the next category on Pandle accounting software called reports. So how much profit I have made this month? Let's look at category reports. Profit and loss statement is what I need to look at. So let's click there. And this month when you scroll to the bottom, you will see, oh, I have made a loss. Okay, so let's break in categories. Sales, direct costs and expenses. So sales are all sales what relating to your selling your products. So I sold eggs this month or in last 30 days, and all are mainly recorded under eggs, but there is one transaction or multiple transactions under sales. To find out more, you can click on this section to see what's been recorded. So there have been eggs, but it's been possible misallocated to wrong, like incorrect category. So when we click to customer invoices, and we go to edit, there is a sales. Let's amend to sales eggs and sales eggs, and we just click save and finish. Okay, so let's go back to our screen, click refresh, and now it's all allocated to my category of sales. If you would sell potatoes or tomatoes, they will show up in separate categories, and it's easier to analyze and look at how much money you have made by each category. Next category is direct costs. So my direct costs were goods and materials, but so for eggs and the likewise with sales section, we can go and amend because there have been all eggs. When you click on supplier invoice, and we can select product eggs, save all, click here, select eggs, and this one. It's been under goods, but we have subcategory called eggs. So just updating to make sure that they are showing up on correct category. So when we click refresh on this arrow, it shows that it's product X. And also we had one receipt for a fuel, so it's direct costs for our fuel. So Actually, our gross profit from direct costs and direct sales, we made £20.33. So actually I made, sorry. So yeah, so 20.33. But there is another category called expenses. So there is something for travel and subsistence of 149.25, which brings me to actual loss, making loss for this period. To check more details, click on travel subsistence. So what is making up this £149? So on 28th of February, I purchased flight tickets to going to event of farmers, and also I needed to book a hotel for one night, so it was costs as well. And plus there is a meal at Samoa for 16.35. So all these three transactions making up my expense of £149. So if you don't add every single expense and don't record it, you would think that actual month been very good of £20, but there is any additional, there is other additional expenses that are relating to your business, which are bringing to net loss. Not a worry for me at the moment, because I still have a month to go before tax year end as a sole trader. So I still have plenty time to make my accounts, to make sales and turn this loss into profit. So what other reports we have available? So there was a balance sheet. So what is a balance sheet? That is a position at a certain time of your accounts. So mainly it will be combined from money what customers still own us. When you click on this blue section, it will show all invoices issued and money received and what is still outstanding. Of your outstanding balances on your cash account, I still have cash on my table, so there is 24.83 showing that I still have a cash on hand, and plus 376.25 I have in bank money. So what was making up these money transactions and etc.? There are of course my personal fundings. There's £50 of cash money transaction, and 500 what I sent to my bank account to start my business. And also we own £30 to our suppliers for purchasing eggs, and we still haven't paid this latest invoice from a supplier, so this still is overdue as it's showing. So, and there is last category called capital. That's in accounting terms. It's in simple words your profit or loss for a period. So if I have made a loss, so my actual capital or money what I have made in period is in a minus, as we can see. So what are other reports what I can use? So there is trial balance and cash flow what you can use to utilize. Also you can look at age reports for receivables, payables if you need to. So there both will show breakdowns of amounts that either customers own us or we owe to suppliers still. And then there is other exports that you can use. For example, if you want all list of your contact details from your customer side, they will include also outstanding balances and email addresses, phones, and etc. And the same will apply for suppliers. And plus you can download transactions, any general ledger or customer and supplier invoices. And you can download the CSV files and use it to analyze your business operations if needed. So this section covers reports. Let's go back to dashboard. To go back to dashboard, click on this Pandle icon and it comes to dashboard. And dashboard would show how your business looks like in a graph situation. So for example, sales performance, it's showing in February that I made £23 and in March I made £60, so in total £83 from beginning of when I started my business. And Okay, bank account's taking ages to load. Profit and loss performance. So in February, I actually made 137.40 loss, but in March, on a upside, it's 848 a profit. When we're looking at expense report as a breakdown, it's like a pie chart. It shows how much each category have costed. So when you quickly look, so you think, what is this category? And it's travel subsistence, because we had hotel of £91 and we had a flight tickets. And then there is, of course, our direct costs of purchasing eggs from our suppliers. So now bank account balance is loaded up as well, so it shows how much you actually have still money in your bank account and how much cash you have on your hand. You can edit your dashboard by clicking here, and you can just say that, oh, I actually don't want cash flow and I don't want profit and loss performance. So when you click save, only expense report, bank accounts and sales performance will show up. So you can edit and amend your dashboard how you want. There is another couple of functions what you should be aware. So instead of going on selecting customer, suppliers and any of these sections, you can select by clicking on this plus sign, and you can add new customers, the same of invoice and credit notes, and the same process applies from suppliers, bank transactions, and etc. So this is like your short dashboard. Instead of going a long way from actual customer sections, supplier sections, or banking sections, you can go directly by clicking on quick links, and it provides here, so you can enter transactions more quicker. Then I should, notifications, I want to bring up something else about subscriptions. So if you select Pandle Pro package, under company settings, there will be user permissions available. So standard permissions are first free, restricted, company, admin, and standard. But you can create additional user permissions if required. So for example, I created AP and AR clerk who can access fully customers and suppliers, but they have restricted access to banking, VAT returns and overviews. So it's only read-only and they cannot edit anything, and no access at all to company settings. This allows you to do segregation of duties if required. So if your staff members are able to add customers and suppliers, then they should be limited to do bank reconciliations and do payments, because you don't want your business operations get out of control, right? And next to user permissions, there is header called users. That's where you can add new users. So with Pandle Pro package, you can have unlimited, as far as I know, users of this accounting software. Using Pandle free version, you will have only one user's access, and you can add your accountant, but accountants will need to be part of the partnership program and etc. So we covered all sections now, and including dashboard and user permissions. Okay guys, I hope that this tutorial have helped you to understand basic functions of Pandle accounting software. But if you have any questions or need any further advice, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next episode. Bye!